hold to your Bitcoin forecast for, what is it, $1 million per coin by 2030. That still feels good to you.
Yes, and you can, sometimes you need to battle test. You need to go through crises to see who the real, to see the survivors, first of all, but really to battle test the infrastructure and the thesis. And again, we think Bitcoin is coming out of this smelling like a rose because of what I have mentioned previously. And I do think, though, the one thing that will be delayed is perhaps institutions stepping back and just saying, okay, do we really understand this? And once they actually do the homework and see what's happened here, I think they might be more comfortable moving into Bitcoin and perhaps Ether as a first stop. Because they'll understand.
That was Cathie Wood, founder and CEO of ARK Investments, and you can see she has a huge price prediction for Bitcoin before the end of the decade. This is within the next 7 years. And you can see at the current prices of BTC, if we go up to $1 million from current prices, you can see that's going to be around a 4,000% move to the upside for Bitcoin if it does get to $1 million by the end of the decade. So that's more than a 40x on your money. So anything that you put in now, if Bitcoin does get to $1 million by 2030, you have 40x'd your money. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section below. Do you think Cathie Wood is way too bullish for Bitcoin? Leave your thoughts down below. And we'll be checking out some more clips here from Cathie Wood just in a second. Want to share an update with you guys. We did just start our YouTube membership here, so you guys can join our membership if you want to for a low price of only $3 to support the channel, and we'll give you guys some exclusive content. If you pay for the highest tier, you can actually join our private Telegram group. So go ahead and check that out if you guys haven't already. And then to check out some short-term indicators, you can see this is from CryptoCon. They say Bitcoin is making support on the DMI bull market line just like before the 150% run in 2019 to 13,000. This is something we've been saying over the past couple of months. It was really looking very similar to 2019 when we had that big dip down for Bitcoin all the way down to $15,000, and then we started trading sideways. Bitcoin Bros did tell you guys we did think that was the bottom, and we think it's going to play out very similar to 2019, and so far it is playing out almost exactly like 2019. But he also says waiting for much lower prices to buy in is unlikely to play out in your favor, as bull market signal prices were almost never seen again. This is just the beginning of the next bull run. So take that for what it is, not saying that lower prices can't come ever again, but it does look like the bottom is in. Bitcoin is going up now. It's almost at $25,000 at the time of this recording. But let's go ahead and see what Cathie Wood has to say about the future of Bitcoin and why she thinks it's going to explode to $1 million, and what are the benefits of Bitcoin around the world. So let's go ahead and check that clip out.
Last year was a terrible year for everything crypto. But if you think about what happened, it was the centralized, opaque players who went bankrupt: FTX, Celsius, 3 Hours Capital. And what did we see from Bitcoin? Bitcoin is completely decentralized and transparent. It started because of 0809, the lack of transparency in the traditional financial services ecosystem. And I remember when we did our research, and Art Laffer, I mentioned him. I mentioned him the first time he was on your show. Yep. He took us through what Bitcoin meant to him, and it was, wow, Art. This is a rules-based monetary. It's a rules-based digital monetary system, and it's global, and there's no human intervention. It's very disciplined. It's mathematically metered to top out at 21 million units. Well, in the last 3 years, the responses to COVID, the fiscal and monetary responses, that, in many countries are causing hyperinflation and, fiscal crises. We're seeing protests and riots all over the place. Well, where do these people go for an insurance policy against an implosion in their purchasing power and wealth? It is in something like Bitcoin. Bitcoin is an insurance policy, and it is an insurance policy for everyone against confiscation.
So Cathie Wood basically just explaining why Bitcoin is not just important here in the United States, but important all over the world, and how it can really help some countries that are dealing with hundreds of percents of inflation year over year. There are a lot of countries who see triple-digit inflation while we see double-digit inflation over here in the United States, and Bitcoin definitely helps with that. And I did want to share this with you here. The Fear and Greed Index just got back into greed at 60. And this is actually very interesting because we haven't been in greed for Bitcoin over a year now. Since basically December of 2021, we've been in fear, panic mode. Nobody's been confident in this cryptocurrency market. Like Cathie Wood just said earlier in today's clip, 2022 was terrible for crypto. But now we're back in greed, and I think this is actually a good thing. Some people might say, oh, everything is overbought, but I'm just thinking that people are getting more confidence back into Bitcoin and crypto. And I think what's actually leading a lot of this is people understanding what CBDCs are and how you can opt out of that by investing in Bitcoin. And here's a clip from Natalie Brunell talking about what's wrong with our money, how people like to point fingers, but they don't actually look for the solution, even though the solution is there. So let's go ahead and check out this clip.
On society at large. And I think for a lot of people who were in Bitcoin early, that's what drove them to Bitcoin in part. So what are you saying right now, your thoughts on where we are as a nation in the world?
Well, I think as a nation, we're hurting. And we are trying to find a political savior, and we're blaming it on this team or that team, this color versus that color. And I argue for people to look deeper than that. It is the financial system that's broken, and people need to stop looking to a political savior to break their chains of debt servitude. They can break their own chains now by opting out of the system and into a monetary protocol that's completely decentralized, that's divorced from the state, and that is Bitcoin. And the thing that really got me interested in this space, that got me questioning it and going down the rabbit hole, so to speak, is I asked myself, why? If technology is supposed to drive prices down, why is the cost of living going up every year? Why is it so expensive to buy a house for young people? Stock portfolio is so expensive. Cost of education. There's a real reason to that, because when you flood the system with cheap money, easy capital, you manipulate what should be free markets, then you have the greatest wealth transfer from the poor and the middle class to the elite. And now finally there can be a reverse wealth transfer, and that's what I'm fighting for.
So thank you guys for watching all the way to the end of today's video clip. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, hit that subscribe button. We have new cryptocurrency content coming out every single day. My name is Aaron from the Bitcoin Bros. I'm out. I'll see you guys in the next one, and have a great rest of your day.